Hey, this is Andy from Petrolhead, and this is
the 5 things that he loves about Tesla Model S. Performance.
So it's a bit of an obvious one when you're talking about Teslas, but the performance is really addictive. And I'm not talking about driving like an absolute tit. I do track days for the times when you're really pushing the limit of what the car can do. However, there's something really satisfying about having that performance there when you need it, whether it's to get away from someone who's driving really erratically, and then little things like just entering a roundabout. It's so much quicker and easier and safer if you've got the performance. And the advantage of electric cars is you get the really instant throttle response, which just means that when you want the car to move, it goes. You're not having to wait for the revs to grow up and any sort of turbo lag or anything like that. And this thing could beat that Bentley Bentayga, which is quite fun. This is our family car, and it's just over 4 seconds to 60, and this is basically the slowest Tesla. So it's just the fact that you've got that performance there if you need it. And the nice thing about the Model S especially is if you want it to be very economical, you can drive it economically. And if you wanted to have the performance, you just use your right foot in a different way. And that's something we've really enjoyed. It's a true Jekyll and Hyde car. And there's not that many cars that can do that as well. I remember the old V10 BMW M6. That was a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde car, in as much as you could cruise really nicely and just enjoy some music and then put the pedal down and you get the full 500 brake horsepower performance of that V10. However, however I drove that car, I got 15 miles to the gallon. So it wasn't really that good in that respect. Whereas the advantage of this car is that I can basically get 220 miles if I'm driving it carefully and with economy in mind, or I can rag it flat out and get 4 seconds, or that's about 4.2 to 60. So definitely number one reason on my list of the 5 things I love about my Tesla Model S is the performance. It's brilliant.
Family car.
Now number 2 on our list is the fact that it's a true family car. Now I'm going to do another video on this because I think there's a lot more to say, but briefly for this video, this is a true 5-seater. I've sat in the back. I'm 6'2" and 19 stone, or 270 pounds if you're watching this in America. So I'm a big lad, but I can still fit in the middle seat in the back. Yeah, my head's nearly touching the ceiling, but only just. And that's really cool. So it's a true 5-seater. It's got an enormous boot or trunk, and then you've got that extra little frunk at the front, which is really quite helpful on when you need the maximum amount of storage space for like a road trip or similar. And yet, it's what I think is a gorgeous saloon sports car. And that's a really cool situation to be in, because the previous family cars we had were 4x4 sort of SUV style. And yes, you've got the family focused size and safety and all the benefits in that respect, but they would wallow through corners, they didn't handle well, they were very inefficient. And these were petrol and diesel cars prior to having this electric car. But there's a lot of people who say, oh, if you're a family, you buy the Model X. And I love the Model X, it's brilliant. But at the same time, it loses out on performance, efficiency, and handling. And it's also a bit more money. So when you bring in those 4 things and you look at the Model S, you realise that for the majority of people, the Model S is all you really need as a family. Assuming you've just got, like, we've got 2 daughters and we've got 2 dogs, all of us, and a wife, and all of us can go in the car really quite happily. Then when you look at, say, so compare with a previous sort of 4x4, to get everything that this car can take, we needed a roof box as well. Because when we used to go down to Disney, we used to take what is basically a trailer from a bicycle turned into a pushchair, which was perfect for the girls if they needed to have a nap at Disney. But to fit, it wouldn't fit in the previous car. We had to get a roof box. So number 2 on my list of the 5 things I really, really love about the Tesla Model S is the fact it's a family car, yet it's also a sports saloon and really a great looking car.
Safety.
So number 3 on my list of, the 5 things I really love about this car, and it was probably the number 1 criteria when we were buying the car, and that's safety. This is our main family car. So the priority there was that it was safe first, and then the other things like the performance and the tech kind of came second. And it's something we just take for granted now a little bit, but there's certain elements of the way the Teslas are made that just makes them so safe. The big advantage is you haven't got a massive lump of metal in front of my shins, which other cars call an engine. If we were in an accident, there's the front of the car is just set up 100% to be a crumple zone, whereas in a petrol or diesel car, if it's front engined, you've got to think about where that engine's going to go. And I don't think I really can see any way that a petrol car with a big lump of metal in it is safer. So it's a really good feeling knowing that when we're going on these long road trips and using the car, and our daughters are in the back and our dogs are in the boot or front or trunk, that we know that the car is as safe as it can be. And I think that's Model 3. I think that's a really massive positive for why we love this car. There's nothing more to say really, is there?
Technology.
Point number 4 is the technology in this car, and there's multiple levels to this. So for example, we're currently driving along at 70 miles an hour on a dual carriageway. So we've got a great sat nav here. In the Model S you've got the 2 screens. So this has a big satellite screen, it's basically Google Maps. But then I've got a more basic one up here, which is really all I use. I don't really look at this very much. So I tend to use voice commands to set a navigation, and then I just use this screen. So it's brilliant. I'm looking straight ahead. It's got the 2 screens. But that screen is amazing. It just makes life so easy if we need to sort of find something or zoom in. And I did a track day at an airfield, and it was great because we could zoom in, find the airfield on Google Maps, hold my finger down to drop a pin, and it navigated exactly to that point, because we didn't have a postcode for the sort of the entrance of the airfield. And then it takes on another layer. So because of this screen and all the tech that comes with it, you've got Spotify, you've got TuneIn for podcasts, you can even do karaoke, which the girls find really enjoyable. There's lots of things there that you don't get on a normal car. So there's that benefit in terms of the entertainment, and crikey, the stereo. You need to experience it because it's amazing. I've not heard a standard stereo be as good as this. But then it goes one step further, and you get the software downloads. So what will happen is I'll get a notification on my phone that says new software update available. I'll click download, and half an hour later I've got new software in the car. Like, that's just incredible. So you've got that, and then the phone app is really useful because I can remote defrost the car in winter, I can remote cool the car in summer, and all that's just from the phone app. And the nice thing about Tesla, and the reason I'm a big fanboy of them, is that they are constantly improving these things. Someone moaned to Elon that the autopilot noises were too loud, it was waking their baby up. So they created a Bob mode, I think it's called, named after this guy who asked for there to be a mode where you can turn them down. And that's all really cool. And you know, within the menu system, you've got everything you need. So when you do need to find something, it's just a case of going through some menus and finding it out. So there's lots of other tech. You know, I could do a whole different video on autopilot, and plenty of other people have. So there's that technology, and then there's also the safety elements, which I talked about earlier. But in terms of technology, there's a lot of safety, that if a car stops in front of me and I'm driving towards it and it thinks I haven't seen it, it will make a beep and it'll make some flashing, and it will just make me aware. And you know, that's warned me as quickly as I've noticed before. So if I was looking out the window and a car suddenly stopped, that noise would instinctively make me touch the brake and work out what's going on. So yeah, the technology of this car is absolutely class leading, and I don't know of any other car that's better in that respect. So technology, a big positive of owning a Tesla Model S.
Eco!
So point number 5 on my 5 things I love about this car is the health benefits of running an electric car. I'll admit it, I didn't buy this car for the health benefits and the eco benefits. I bought it for the safety and the performance and the tech, those 3 things. So the eco side of it's kind of been something that's really impressed Kate and me, and it starts on a very local level. When I reverse onto the driveway, the exhaust fumes were putting out so much gases in and around the car and getting caught in the porch of our house, that we were walking through that every time we came home. And it wasn't until we had an electric car and I suddenly realized we weren't having to do that. You know, it's a bit like smoking. When you smoke every day, you get used to it. But when you don't smoke and you're like me, a non-smoker, you recognize smoke whenever you smell it. So this is, you know, a really big benefit, and that's just on a local level. And I often say that, I'm not sure where I'm going. I often say that buying an electric car for a lot of people is the first step on changing a lot of things for the better. Because what we realized is that from the car point of view, an electric car was gave us a load of benefits, and it was better for ourselves and better for the environment. And it then had a chain reaction of, we started looking at other things, and you know, things around the house and all things like that. So the health benefits are there. You know, there's a lot of rubbish talked about how electric cars are fueled, and that they're fueled by coal stations. I pay for 100% renewable energy. This car is fueled by the sun, by waves, by wind. There's no coal energy going into this. If I use Tesla chargers, again, they're fueled by renewable sources. And the advantage of electric cars is you can choose how you power them. With a petrol or diesel car, you just have to use petrol or diesel. So I think that's a massive benefit, and I think we've got to do all that we can as a population. And if there is a way, new Puma. When they make an EV Ford Puma, that's going to be really good. You know, if we can all do these little things, then that's going to be a really big benefit for the country, for the world, for everyone. So I think that's a big benefit of running an electric car such as a Tesla. Okay, well, thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this sort of quick 5 things video. If you check out my channel and subscribe, there's going to be a lot more videos about the Tesla Model S, and we've now run it for 18,000 miles, so we feel like we're getting to know this car pretty well. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like, and you know, send me a comment if you have any questions. A lot of my videos are actually off the back of people asking questions in the comments. So if there's a question you've got, please ask it, and I'll either reply if it's an easy answer, or I'll just film another video. So thank you for watching, hope you've enjoyed it, and see you again on another video soon. Bye bye.